It is Tuesday, September 29th, 2020, and it is the day of the first 2020 U.S. presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And as we go into the debate this evening, we are asking a lot of questions about this bombshell reporting in the New York Times about Donald Trump's tax returns and whether he is using his office to avoid prison time. It seems like the president's stakes are now re-election or prison, and we're going to get into that this morning on the AM Report. All right, so good morning, everybody, and welcome to the AM Report. We've got some people joining in. Drew Shepard, Pablo de Hoya, Mark Goldman. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. So we are talking about these bombshell reports in the New York Times about Donald Trump's federal tax returns. So the New York Times finally obtained 2 decades worth of Donald Trump's tax returns, his federal tax returns, which are a source of a lot of confusion and mystery over the last at least 5 years, since 2015 when Donald Trump launched his first presidential campaign. And now, of course, he is seeking re-election. And it seems like, based on this reporting, that there are some very high stakes for the president with regards to staying in office because of what the implications of these tax returns could mean for his own personal liability and criminal liability. So the reports did show that in his federal income taxes that he's paid close to no federal income taxes over the last 15 years, but he's also acquired such a massive amount of debt. Pablo de Hoya says fake news. So go Bears. Fake news is another Russian troll. But, you know, he's paid no income taxes for the past 15 years, and he's acquired a big, massive amount of debt. And tonight is the debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and this kind of bombshell reporting has really created some more avenues of attack for Joe Biden against Donald Trump, because I think the implications are pretty wild for the American people who are, pay more federal income taxes. Many of them pay more federal income taxes in a single month. I know that I do. Than Donald Trump has paid in over a decade. So he's been avoiding releasing his tax returns since this time around in 2016. As you'll note, in the very first presidential debate against Hillary Clinton, this topic was raised, and he has said that he will not release his tax returns because he's under an IRS audit. Now, an IRS audit does not preclude somebody from releasing their tax returns. So it's a pretty disingenuous excuse that he gives about his audit, but we do know that he is being audited. Now we know why, because of a $72.9 million tax refund that he received in 2010 that the IRS is now investigating. So this is all raising the crucial core question, which is, does he just have a great accountant, or has he committed tax fraud and tax evasion that have robbed the American people and are crimes that are punishable by prison? So we know that in 2016, Donald Trump's personal attorney and his fixer, Michael Cohen, was convicted on similar charges as a result of the Mueller investigation, and he was given a prison sentence of 3 years and is currently speaking out against the president. He's saying that Donald Trump is a con man and a criminal, and he has said repeatedly many times that the truth about his criminality lies in his tax returns. And so we're going to get some more reporting about the tax returns at the New York Times over the next few days or weeks, and we will see. But we do know that the New York Times is reporting that Trump has been using his campaign, which is ethically required to not be used as a personal source of income for the candidate, has been used for personal coffers for the president and his family, particularly with regards to legal expenses. So Trump has spent donations to his official campaign committee and the Republican National Committee on legal fees for himself, his kids, and his staff. Donor money was also used for legal fees to countersue former employees who brought personal claims against the president or broke their personal NDAs. So this is a huge conflict of interest and potentially a crime, but we know that the president can't be indicted while in office, and that there's a likelihood that the IRS has paused the audit against Trump while he's in office as the president. So this is very important to know, that because Donald Trump knows that he can't be indicted and can't be prosecuted while a sitting U.S. president, that he is likely looking at these reports in the New York Times, and the stakes for him to stay in office have now doubled and tripled and maybe even more, because he understands that there's a great deal of legal implications for this, and the IRS is not actually continuing their audit. At least we are assuming, based on some of the reporting in the New York Times, while he's in office. And it's also important to note that the head of the IRS is a Trump appointee now. A lot of Trump's followers and supporters on social media are just saying, well, he has a great accountant. And I don't know about you. I paid more in federal income taxes in the last month than Donald Trump has paid in over a decade, and he's a self-purported billionaire. So that it just really riles me up, regardless of your political affiliation. And I think people's dedication to this person has really blinded them from just how outrageous it is for people who are working multiple jobs, part-time jobs, or working minimum wage jobs, and are trying to struggle and get by, for this rich, privileged person to be paying no income taxes. And by the way, he pays more income taxes to foreign governments because of his business entities than he does to the American government. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to foreign governments, and pays no income taxes here. And if you pay taxes, and that is, it smarts every time you see your paycheck, and you're looking at that paycheck, and it really smarts to see how much money the federal government has taken from you when you're just trying to get by. I think it's really pretty outrageous for a lot of people who are even-minded, moderately minded, or on the left. And of course, now the criminality of the president has become a partisan issue, where his supporters are willing to excuse and forgive it at all costs. He did promise in the 2016 presidential election that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it, and his supporters would still love him, and that much is extremely clear now. So we're talking about Donald Trump's stakes with these new reports out of the New York Times, and his needing re-election to avoid prison time, indictment, or possible prosecution. So we know he can't be indicted while sitting U.S. president, so he's using the presidency to avoid legal scrutiny and to prop up his businesses. That much we know from the reporting is true. His personal businesses are benefiting from his presidency, including his D.C. hotels and his golf course resorts, which the Times reporting and the tax returns show that are extremely losing ventures. They're just bleeding hundreds of millions of dollars. And we know that the tax returns show he's in dire trouble because of the massive amounts of debt he's collected. Coincidentally, all that debt, hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, is all coming due in the next 4 years, 2 to 3 years, to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's personally responsible. So this is severe legal implications for him. And we know that the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel has said that the sitting U.S. president cannot be indicted, which is why and how Trump has been able to avoid prosecution in other legal dramas that he's found himself in, including the Mueller report, which did show that the president committed crimes. I know Donald Trump did a very good job. The Republicans did a really great job of painting this as no crimes because the Mueller report wasn't tasked with charging the president with crimes. And since he can't be charged with a crime while sitting U.S. president, they took that lack of charges and claimed to the American people that there were no crimes committed. But we know from the Mueller report that he obstructed justice, and we know that he's had several sexual assault charges brought against him and defamation lawsuits that he's all been able to avoid prosecution from an indictment because he's a sitting president. So Richard Painter, a University of Minnesota law professor, told the Huffington Post that because Trump controls the executive branch, he can use Bill Barr and the Attorney General's office to try to make sure that the federal government is not investigating, and he's doing that. So not only is he avoiding the actual indictment on these crimes, but he's also trying to use the powers of the federal government to avoid being investigated at all. And he's actually raised that as a defense in court against the various jurisdictional entities that are bringing suit trying to obtain his tax returns. He's used this as a defense. He has said, I'm the president, you can't even investigate me. Now, the Supreme Court has struck that down twice and said that that's baloney, that you can be investigated while sitting U.S. president. It doesn't avoid doesn't make you so immune to legal consequences that you can avoid an investigation altogether. But Donald Trump, according to Mr. Painter in the HuffPost, said that as long as he's in the presidency, he can, and Pointer believes illegally, keep the federal government from investigating him and his businesses by abusing his power and hoping the courts will back him up. So we also know he's just seated a Supreme Court justice. He's nominated a Supreme Court justice to fill the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who passed away now coming on 2 weeks ago. And he's really railroading through this nominee as quickly as possible because he's projected that he wants to challenge the outcome of the election in the courts, no matter what they show, what the outcome shows. And he wants to do that and make sure that he's got a Supreme Court stacked with his own appointees and with a conservative majority. So what do you think? Is Donald Trump's reelection his get out of jail free card? You know, we know that Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance is in a battle to get the tax returns and has said and projected he's investigating fraud by the president. And so what do you guys think of this? And what are the stakes for tonight's debate as we go into this debate tonight against Joe Biden? You know, it's going to be an interesting night. You know, we'll note that last time in 2016, Hillary Clinton sort of handily defeated Donald Trump in these debates. At least that's what these polls and lots of different polls showed after those 3 debates that she won. And she did it by using her really her skills as a woman and her ability to sort of not be triggered by him in the ways that he intended to trigger her. I'm wondering how this will go with Joe Biden tonight and how much of an issue these tax returns and Donald Trump's criminality will become an issue in the debate tonight, because this is new bombshell reporting. So stay tuned, and tomorrow morning we will provide you a recap of those debates on the AM Report with Alex Mahajer for Haps News, the network of now. We are live every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, with all of your quick political news and headlines to get your day started right. You can sponsor this content if you enjoyed it. You can buy me a cup of coffee because I need another one. Please, God, another cup of coffee. You can do that at haps.tv/@Alex Mahajer. And thanks for joining so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning.